Hey everyone, welcome back to Safe Fitness Training. I wanted to make a quick video to talk to some of you who may be in kind of like the intermediate sweet spot for training. That's right around, I would say maybe 4 months to 7 months, maybe 8 months into this. You're definitely not a beginner. You've been doing this workout for a while. After about 4 months or so, you start to really get a knack for it, essentially. It becomes second nature. It's something that you're just doing at this point. It is habit. So that's incredible, first and foremost. You'll notice a lot of things start to happen here at this point. You'll begin to lose some of those beginner's gains. And when I talk about beginner's gains, people so often in the fitness industry, they use these words. They'll say, oh, you hit a plateau. That's assuming that the beginner's gains are actually normal muscle growth, which they're not. It's so fast when you first begin that a lot of trainees can double their strength in just about 6 months, or sometimes even less than that, depending upon how much exercise they've had in the past. With high intensity training, of course, with this method of strength training, it's very different than anything that most people have done. So, my advice to those of you who are in this position right here, I have a few things, but the biggest thing is not to abandon your current structure. It is okay to change up your routine a little bit, but I want to offer you a warning. And a lot of people, they'll make a lot of assumptions between delayed onset muscle soreness and effectiveness. And they'll say, oh, hey, look, if I'm not getting as sore as I used to get when I'm doing my workouts, well, it's not as effective as it used to be. That's really not how it works. Our body adapts to certain things. And so when it comes down to it, delayed onset muscle soreness is a signal of adaptation that happens in the body. Our body simply becoming used to the workout. We're still getting all of those health results that we're after. If we don't feel sore after a workout, if we're hitting momentary muscular failure, every single one of our cells in our body are getting those myokines flooded to it. We're helping ourselves in the most unique and important and special ways that we could possibly give to our bodies if we're looking to live longer, if we're looking to increase our health. So I don't want you to be dismayed at the point that you start to think, if I'm not getting sore, I'm not getting a good workout. You are. It's just that delayed onset muscle soreness is not an indicator of a good workout. Intensity of effort always is. So if you tune in my video and you're like, oh, what is he talking about? This is high intensity strength training. This is good for everybody of all ages. And when I say that, you can give it a judge for yourself. I have a free PDF that you can have sent directly to your email. Read it, look it over, try the method, feel exactly how much it improves your workouts and how much more you feel that you're actually being impacted. When this workout I've done for about 7 years with clients, one-on-one, and the 7 years before that I spent in training or, being a certified fitness trainer, I only got about half the muscle growth out of individuals than I do now, working with people in high intensity strength training. And what I'm talking about here is twice the muscle growth. When we're talking about muscle growth, that's great. It's not for aesthetics. It really is to improve your own life, make you better at everything, have so much more energy. It's like the superpower that people don't know about who don't do strength training. It makes your body a well-oiled machine in every way. And I have a lot of videos where I talk about this. I'll probably leave some in the comments if I have some time here, or description box. But what I really want you to know here is that, this is available for you, for absolutely everybody. Like I said, that free PDF's down there, but also I have a full course of almost 5 hours of information that's down below as well. Just sign up for my email list. You'll get tons of tips. I want you to think as well about these adaptations, delayed onset muscle soreness not being a way to judge your progress. That's very true. Your own progress is a way to judge that. And that's why, there's a specific way of working our way upward. And a lot of people do this in different ways. When you think about it, one-on-one with a coach, a lot of us high-intensity trainers, what we will do is we'll judge it off of time. And if you get past a certain time with a certain weight, then we'll just knock those weights up. That intensity is increased because of the heavier weight, and then your time goes down. This is a great way for record keeping. It's probably the best way. But I will say this, when you're in the gym working out on your own, it's not exactly the easiest thing to start a stopwatch and then grab hold and then push, right? And so we lose some time, we lose some minutes. A lot of people will count reps and they'll set a maximum repetition performance place to be at. Say, if I get more than 11 repetitions through this, then it will be round about above 2 minutes. And so if I get more than 11 repetitions, then I'm going to raise that weight. That's another great way to look at it. So those two strategies of moving your weights upward, if you're hitting momentary muscular failure, your weights will go up really fast. This is the time, this record-keeping time, if you're at like 4 months, 7 months into your training, to kind of think a little bit about how can I tweak this? How can I make this the most beneficial with every setting? And that's with good record keeping. Whether it's you're counting reps or whether it's that you're counting time, they're both fairly similar. And so keeping track of those things is going to be pretty important for you moving upward from here. You want to keep your eye on the prize and your eye, of course, on your own goals, whether that's hypertrophy or whatever you're looking for, health results. It's different for everybody, of course. And I'll leave you with this, and this is super important for people right around your bracket. If you've been training for maybe 4 months, you've felt some things that you've wanted to change, or you felt some things that maybe haven't registered consciously that you want to change. Inklings in your mind, hey, maybe I can make some changes here. There are lots of different ways to do that. And so make changes. This is a huge piece of advice for y'all at this level. Always make changes one at a time. So when I say that, when you're making a change in a machine, let's assume that you're just having a problem in a joint. You're doing a bicep curl, you have a problem in your elbow, you want to make a change, so you move the seat up, but at the same time you change your gap in the machine to where you start a little further upward, and you change multiple things at the same time. You don't know which one is responsible for the positive change or the positive gain that you're after. This same thing can go into adjusting your own frequency, volume, and intensity, right? And so I have multiple videos on this, but there's 3 different things you can play with here, and that is frequency, volume, and intensity. Frequency is simply how many times a week you're doing this. How many times do you get to failure in between rest sessions is basically your frequency. Your volume is, how many exercises you're doing in a session. And of course, intensity, typically we want that to be at the very top. 10 out of 10 intensity for everything. Some people have to adjust that for their own, all sorts of different issues, whether it be genetic, whether it be whatever. We can play with those 3 variables quite a bit, but here's the thing. If you are patient with yourself, and you say, hey, I only want to change one thing at a time. First of all, I'm going to change my volume. I'm going to bring this down to where I get 1 less machine per session and see what that does and see if I find more muscle growth. Many times you might. I started playing around with my frequency really, really specifically after about 2 years of my training. This is my 7th year into doing high-intensity strength training. And I noticed that my gains started to go up when I changed my frequency after that 2 year mark. So look, you're not quite there yet. There are other factors to play with as well. So, I mean, knowing yourself, knowing your genetics, knowing how you build muscle, that's going to be helpful. You know, I'm built like a soccer player, so I build muscle like a soccer player. And it is what it is. I can never be this other genetic phenotype. It's not possible. So I just have to accept reality, move through it, and work through what I have to work with. And so my frequency is actually a little bit lower than other people's because I cannot tolerate as much exercise. And yet at the same time, I prefer to have 1 or 2 martial arts sessions in per week. I don't do as much strength training as a lot of other strength trainers would, and that's fine. That's what my preference is. You know, I prefer for a lot of what I do to be mental. And when I say that, a lot of the benefits of martial arts are very mental when it comes down to it. You know, I get a lot of VO2 max training when doing it, but at the same time, there's really not a whole lot of muscular contraction, at least compared to this life-giving workout that I'm talking about here. In fact, I would go as far as to say that martial arts training is an activity. It is not necessarily exercise. If it could be in very large helpings, right? But that's just my philosophy. I really feel like everybody can do strength training, especially with this method. So look, if you know somebody who needs to be introduced to this workout, there's a free PDF down below. You can just check that out. I do hope that you're sharing with your friends the workout that's changed your life, if this has, because I'll tell you, it sure has changed my family's life. So I hope this video has been helpful. And hey, look, I always hope that you live a longer life with the power of strength training. I'll see you on the next video.